for the sake of my daughter, so that at least I can even see her maybe and even get a chance to bring her up. So that's why I requested my brother to talk to my parents to send me a air ticket for me to go back home, and also to find me a rehabilitation center. So I came back home in September 2007. September, I went back home, and they had already found a rehabilitation. So actually from the airport, I didn't even get home. I got to the airport, they had already arranged, and my mom and my dad, they took me direct to Asumbi Rehabilitation Center. It's a treatment center in Homa Bay. So we traveled all the way to Homa Bay, and I was admitted for rehabilitation.
Before you go to Homa Bay, was there a conversation?
Yes, there was a conversation. I remember my dad, the first time after in the lobby. Now I'm from the flight back to Kenya at JKIA. I was looking horrible, my dreads, thin, I was like a needle. My eyes were like red and big. You know now, even the previous night, before leaving India, I had engaged.
Because this is the last.
Yeah, this is the last. Actually, I had a party. My friends had done a party for me. So even when I was getting into Kenya, I was high.
The party, did they know you were getting yourself into a rehab?
Yes, they knew everything, but it wasn't a big deal for them because they're also using. So now when my dad saw me, the first thing he did was to check my hands because he heard I was using drugs. So he was checking whether I was injecting. Actually, he asked me whether I was injecting myself. But I told him, no, I wasn't injecting. My mom, she only cried. When she saw her son, how I was looking, she just cried. Then anyway, we went all the way to Homa Bay. I was admitted at Asumbi. Now that is 2007 September. And that was actually my first rehabilitation. I did my program for 3 months. I think I was discharged in December, but I didn't go back home. I went to stay with my sister, my elder sister. She was working in Meru. She's a doctor. So in 2008, I was convinced to pursue addiction counseling. So I started training as an addiction counselor in 2008, early 2008. I went to Meru after my rehab because my parents did not want me to go back to Thika and meet the same friends we used to use with before I went to India. So they advised me to go to Meru, where my sister was working as a doctor. I think by then she was an intern. So now in 2008, early 2008, I started training as an addiction counselor at a center, Asumbi Center. It was located in Kiambu Road, somewhere in, what was the name? Anyway, it was just in Kiambu Road. So I started training, but I still had reservations with myself. There are things that I had not dealt with. Even when you go to the rehab, you have to work it. We usually say it works if you work it. No one can work it for you. So if you don't come out with the real, what's the underlying issues, that's why we use a holistic approach where we deal with the underlying issues, because that's the real thing. So I think I didn't do my program the right way, and I relapsed in 2008. And that marked the beginning of a relapse pattern. After rehabilitation, now your mind at least has come. You come back to your senses, back to your normal self. But now there are a lot of regrets, self-pity. So there are things that you need to deal with in the right way for you to be able to maintain your recovery. So I think for me, especially the military thing. I did not deal with it. It took me some time to deal with it. Yes, I was still in denial. I still used to think myself and see myself as a military person and all that, Actually, I even used to go and visit my friends who passed out. Now they were officers, some were captains, lieutenants and all that. So I used to go visit them, maybe in Moi Air Base or Langata Barracks, And they were still drinking. So in the process, actually that is what made me to to relapse. I relapsed in Moi Air Base when I had gone to visit my friend. Now they were officers. We are in the officers' mess. They are drinking. So I ended up drinking. So now that was in 2008. I started a pattern of relapses. So sometimes I would be a client back to rehab. At times I would be training as a... I used to go... No, I used to... No, I didn't go back. I went back to Homa Bay in 2009. But in 2008, I went to Karen. There's an Asumbi in Karen. Yeah. The Karen branch. Sometimes I would go to Ngong. There's another rehab in Ngong. When things got worse, I would just check myself in. Sometimes they would take me when I'm in a blackout. So that was the life. We used to meet. I used to go and visit her at her mom's place. Yes, I met my daughter. Actually, she came to visit. She used to come to visit my parents' place, and she would stay for a while. So we used to interact. She got to know me, her dad, and we started a relationship, and we've had a relationship since then. Yes, so the relapse went on for quite some time, and but at the same time, by the way, when I'm doing this addiction thing, I used to be very good at it. Actually, I even used to help people. Now that's that time when I'm in my senses. But then something happens, I relapse, then I'm back to that life or back to rehab. So in 2010, my parents thought like, wow, this guy, he's always in that pattern. Sometimes he's an addiction counselor, sometimes he's relapsed. So we need to get him out of here again. So we talked, and we decided I'm to go to Qatar. So in 2010, I went to Qatar. I had gotten a job with one of the hospitality companies. So I went to work as a waiter. So in Qatar, by the way, there was no alcohol there. By then, there was no access to alcohol. But that does not mean that my problem was gone. My problem was still with me. There are things that I had not dealt with. So I remember in 2011, September or October, after 16 months in Qatar, I was working very well. I had even taken my daughter to school, everything. I was sending money home. But something happened. After 16 months, I got vodka illegally, a whole bottle of vodka, and I drank, and the same insanity, violence and all that. I got violent. I remember I fought with the police in Doha, and they took me to custody. Actually, they were to take me to court. But now, luckily, because God is always there, luckily, the company I was working for it belonged to one of the royals. So they decided, instead of maybe a lot of issues with the company and all that, they told the company to take me back home. They gave the company 48 hours to get me out of Qatar, because I had really messed. Yes, I had done a lot of mess in Doha. So the company, they cancelled my visa. They didn't deport me. They cancelled my visa, and they shipped me back. They gave me my everything that was mine. And in 48 hours, I was in Qatar. I was heading back home. So now that is in 2011, October. Now I'm back, stress, guilt, self-pity, the money that I had. I continued with my career, drinking career. And in the process, I also got married. I married another lady who got pregnant, and she gave me another son in 2012. Yes. By the way, the first lady, she also had another child in 2010. So now the girl had a brother. Yeah, we started dating again, and we got another child. But the funny thing, we never got married. She was still at my parents. But she used to, I think she used to, yeah, she still had faith. So she got a son in 2010, just before I went to Qatar. This is another failure, another big failure in Qatar. So now I'm back to, the addiction is getting, it's even worse, you see. It's like I'm heaping issues after issues. You see, I've not dealt with the military thing. I've not dealt with what you know, the first thing, which was the self-esteem issue. Now there's the military issue. Now there's the India issue. There's also India. It was also a failure because I didn't come back with any academic paper. Yeah. Now there's the Qatar issue. So now back to drinking, back to that life, 2011, 2012. At some point, I started going back to rehab again in 2012.
You still check yourself?
Yes. Training. Sometimes I'm a client. Sometimes I'm working as as an addiction counselor. When I'm training, I'm like sober. Then something, there's a trigger. When a trigger comes and I relapse and back to that life, and they chase me away from the rehab.
So where are your parents?
They continue supporting me even with business. Because I remember in 2013, I went to Ngong and I started some business, and it did very well. I wasn't using by then. For some months, I started some business, and it did very well. And I even started, actually was making liquid soap detergents and selling. With time, it got so good that I started getting like orders, big orders for the soap, you know. Then big money started coming in. In a span of 6 months, I started getting tenders. I was very sharp. But now when big money started coming in, then I forgot everything. I started back. I went back to drinking, and I started messing up, and that was the end of the business. In 2014, back to that life of drunkenness and all that, you know. Things were really bad. For an addict, when you wake up, you don't live in that life of reality. You can't live there. You can't live there. That's why you hear of kutoa lock, eye opener. You need an eye opener. It's either a drink or a bangi, you know. Why? Because you don't want to live in that life of reality. The guilt, the self-pity, you know, it's too much. It's overwhelming, you know. You don't know what you did yesterday. You are waiting to be told what you did yesterday, because every day you have to do something funny. Actually, I used to get into the police stations a lot. Actually, in Thika Makongeni, the police, they used to know me. My dad was an engineer, so they used to know ule kijana wa engineer, always in the police cells. And actually, in 2015, I got imprisoned. Actually, I stayed in Thika main prison for 6 months. I was in prison for 6 months. It's just the violence and all that. Drunk, violent, stealing and all that. Funny enough, my health was just okay. As in I didn't have any serious issues. You know, people are having a lot of serious issues, especially with the organs, the liver, the kidney. And you remember in India, I used to drink even ethanol, which is 99% alcohol. So I don't know how. Actually, I remember my big sister, she's a doctor. She used to ask me, you used to drink alcohol, I mean ethanol, and your organs are still okay. We ni wa Mungu. I didn't have any issues with my organs. But of course, these are the issues, physical issues, that was a norm. But the main issue was the psychological issues. Yeah. A lot of psychosis and on. I've been imprisoned for 6 months in 2015 from May to November. And, even in the prison, we are still using anyway. As long as you sneak in money, you'll get your bangi, you'll get... Even there are people who even get even drinks and all that mirai and those tablets. So now I was released in November, back to my career, Now by then, now everyone is like tired. So 2015, I remember I didn't even go back to Vika. At some point I went to live in Kayole, and life there was not okay, those groups and all that. So I went back to Vika in 2016, the same issues. Now in 2016, I decided to start working as in Mujengos, because now you see I don't have any academic, because even in this training that I started in 2008, I never graduated. I didn't get an opportunity to graduate, because every time I'm back, then I've relapsed. I'm good at what I'm doing, but the paperwork is not there yet. So now, in 2016, no papers, no nothing. No one wants to see me. By then, we had a very sour relationship with my dad. My mom was my only friend anyway, because mothers are mothers. So I started working in the Mijengos, but I'm still drinking and all that. But at some point in 2016 was actually a very bad year. A lot of drinking and that life of, Mijengo and all that. So in 2017, January, I went back to rehab. I convinced my mom and I went back to rehab. And I did my 3 months. Up to April, I got out, and after some time I relapsed. After some times I relapsed. The same issues. There are issues, underlying issues that I'm not dealing with, but I'm coming to that. So I relapsed again, back to that life of that dark hell. I'm not proud of this, but all the while, my parents used to take care of my kids. Yeah, they used to take care of my kids. During the holidays, they'll come to visit my mom. They'll stay there the whole holiday. Even actually, psychologically, I'm not okay. I'm not there. Yes, they are. Actually, even sometimes my parents would give me something to go do them some shopping, and I'll go drink. So, yeah. In addiction, the only thing you care about is your drug of choice. And that's why we say it's a psychological, it's a disease. At some point, this is sad, but at some point, because of, I think, living with me and also being stressed, she had hopes that Isaac will marry me, we'll have a good life. I have 2 kids now, she also started drinking and she became an addict. So now the children were being brought up by teamwork of her parents and my parents. She got so stressed because she had a lot of hopes in us. And of course, in my condition, I also used to stress her, So, and at the same time, I had already introduced her. She was a nice girl, but I had already introduced her to alcohol. So with time, she also got addicted. Yeah, addicted. Actually, by the time I was getting out of addiction, she was deep in addiction. She sobered up, I think like 1 year or 2 years back. Yeah. Anyway, that then we were in 2017. I've relapsed. Then now back to that life. Then we get to 2018. But now in 2018, I turned 35. in April 2018. And that was my, like, my awakening. That was the time my awakening came, because I started looking back. Since 2001, now we are in 2018, 17 years. The only academic paper I have is my Form 4 certificate. So the kid who was who started class 1 in 2002, they finished their 8 years primary, 4 years high school. Those are 12 years. And they've already even finished their university or college. Actually, some are working or some are searching for work. The baby who was born in 2001 or 2000, when I was starting experimenting with drugs, now they are 18 years old. Actually, we are in the same level. They have just cleared their Form 4. Yeah, we are in the same level. We both have the certificate of Form 4, and I'm 35. So the awakening started hitting me. I look back, I've wasted a lot of opportunities, military, universities, local, and where I went to India, businesses I've tried, relationships.
Na duda dono edengerete koi wata ike karade nie huroke no nige done konyita nya bate tekere makere na hinya na duda dono edengerete koi